Live on BBC Radio Scotland.
The time now is 25 to 5. The Scottish Trade Unionist and Socialist coalition is the latest party to launch its election manifesto. The party, which is standing on an anti-austerity platform, is fielding candidates in 10 Scottish constituencies. Well, let's get more details now from the TUSC's Scottish spokesperson, Philip Stott, who joins us now in our Dundee studio. Good evening, Mr. Stott.
Hi, Laura.
Listen, just first of all, tell us a bit about the party, because it's not hugely well known in Scotland.
No, I mean, we established TUSC, as we call it, the Trade Unionist and Socialist Coalition, in 2010. And it was co-founded by the former leader of the Rail Workers Union, Bob Crow, who sadly is no longer with us. But we stood 60 candidates in 2010, and this time round we're standing 135 across Scotland, England and Wales. And it's a coalition of trade unionists, of socialist organisations, anti-cuts and anti-austerity campaigners.
Are you not being served by all the other political parties that are already out there?
No, I think, to be fair, having read their manifestos and looked at the figures in relation to public spending, we've got all the major parties offering anything from austerity max to austerity light. Nobody's offering a 100% anti-austerity manifesto, and that's what TUSC is doing. 100% against cuts, 100% against austerity, and that's what we believe is missing in this election campaign.
That sounds lovely. How are you paying for it?
Well, that's a good question. I think the main elements of our manifesto are based on wealth taxes on the rich and big business. Just to give you one figure, the richest 1,000 people in Britain last year pocketed £520 billion. We would levy a 20% wealth tax on that to get £100 billion to invest in public services, raising the minimum wage to £10 an hour, and to reverse the effects of austerity. We'd also ensure that the billions and billions that are lying idle, uninvested in the big corporations in Scotland and across Britain, £750 billion according to the Financial Times, that money, if the bosses are not prepared to invest it, we'll take half of that and invest that in rebuilding society that's been devastated by austerity since 2010.
Do you not think if it was all that easy, it would already be being done?
Well, I think all the parties, be they Labour, be they Tory, Lib Dem or SNP, all operate within the confines of the market, of what capitalism can afford. Now, our argument is we bailed out...
That's because the businesses that are part of those markets employ many people.
Yes, they do, but they also employ many people on 0 hours contracts, on low pay, turf people out when, like in the oil industry just now, when the economy as they see it is not going well and profits are struggling. From our point of view, we believe we should publicly own our economy, or at least the major sectors of it. So we also stand for the renationalisation of our gas and electricity companies, our railways, our transport system, and for public ownership of the big industry, so that we can democratically plan our economy rather than leave it to the ravages of the market, which obviously impacts on working class people.
How are you going to pay to bring them back into public ownership?
Well, we would do it on the basis of compensation based on proven need. In other words, see the big shareholders who've pocketed billions and millions of pounds over the years, they don't need compensation. There's a lot
of shareholders out there that aren't big businesses, and a lot of people's pensions are affected by those businesses.
I was going to come on to that, Laura. What I was going to say is that the big shareholders who own the majority of business just now, they don't need compensation. They've made billions and billions already. The small shareholders absolutely should be compensated, but they're a very small minority. The average big business today in Britain, the FTSE top 100 companies, they're overwhelmingly owned by the hedge funds and the pension funds. So from that point of view, yes, let's bring them into democratic public ownership, pay compensation to the small shareholders, but the big corporate entities, they've already made a killing and they don't need any more money.
And just finally, we hear an awful lot about national debt. I think it's currently sitting at about 1.6 trillion. Are you going to borrow more?
No, we wouldn't borrow more money. What we would do is redistribute the money from the top 1% who have walked away scot-free from this economic crisis that they created. We bailed out the bankers to the tune of hundreds of billions of pounds. That money shouldn't be going into their pockets. That money should come back to ordinary working class people up and down the country to invest in a living wage, to end austerity, to rebuild shattered public services. These are the type of policies that are needed, 100% socialist and 100% anti-austerity. And that's what TUSC offers at this election.
Philip Stott from TUSC, thank you very much indeed for